Hello, my name is Tim, and I'm going to be taking you through a high-level view of HorizonLens, the financial planning application. So this is intended just to be, as I say, a helicopter view, just briefly going over the screens, and then of course, for further information, please look at other videos which go into more detail. Okay, so when you first go into the application, you're going to go to this dashboard here, which is going to give you a snapshot of your financials at the current point of time, as in sight today. So the one that's probably the most useful is the net worth, which then allows you to click on the segments to find out a little bit more on what makes up your net worth. Then you also have a forecast snapshot, which is going to give you the chart of your net worth, and you can click on the drop down here, for example, to see things like income and expenses. If we scroll down, we then have access to the assets, and the makeup of your net worth is currently grouped by groups, but if you click on the drop down, you can then see the individual accounts underneath. And then underneath there's a number of extra metrics, which is not a topic of this particular video. You can check other videos for more information about those. And then if we click on situation, so with HorizonLens, not only can you plan as an individual, but you can also plan with your partner by adding in their information there. If you click on milestones, you can add your retirement date, plus if you're into a FIRE, as in the financial independence, retire early, then you can set a number of milestones appropriate for those. If we click on current finances, this is a breakdown of your finances at this point of time, as in today. So you can enter in the number of accounts you have, whether it's like cash, you could enter in like tax-free investments or pensions or taxable investments. HorizonLens has international support, so not just the UK, as you can see here, but if you are from the US or Canada or Australia, plus other European countries, there's actually 38 countries available in HorizonLens, so you can find the accounts appropriate for your particular needs. Then click on income, and this is where you're going to enter any regular income. So for example, if you're earning a salary, if you're appropriate or you are eligible for a state pension, you would enter in here. If you're receiving any benefits, or if you have any other income, which could be regular or one-off, then this is the section over here to enter that. Then we go to expenses, and this is where you're going to have a breakdown of your expenses at this current point of time. If it could be like regular expenses, it could be like one-off expenses, and you can also enter expenses that are going to occur at a future date. For example, during your retirement or before retirement, they can enter in based on this the dialog box here. We then have the assumptions, which is the global assumptions, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but this is where you would enter in, for example, the inflation. In the inflation key points over here. And then the main section underneath is of particular interest is where you actually set up your financial plans. Now, you can only display 3 financial plans on the sidebar, but it will support more than that. If you click on where we have all plans, this is where you can set up or show and edit all the other plans. You can choose which 3 plans appear on the left-hand side, and you can then, this is where you can manage, for example, duplicate plans, delete plans, or recover plans if you've accidentally deleted it. I'm just going to click on then one of the plans here. If we go to the dashboard on the left-hand side, this is your kind of overview of your financial plan. We have the ability to set a number of inputs here, and also the shortcuts to various more in-depth information about the plan. For example, a forecast, backtest, cash flow trends. It's all available just here. A number of metrics on the right-hand side appropriate to the particular plan. You can obviously duplicate and edit with the wizard over the right-hand side over here. And this section here allows you to enter plan-specific information. So on the left-hand side here is you're setting up a kind of global information of the current finances, but that again gets inherited down to individual plans as a default. You can then override that information at a plan level. For example, if you want to experiment with different incomes or perhaps different expenses, then you can set it up on a particular plan level here. On the top hand side is where we get the access to more information about the plan. If we click on where we have plan just here, you may spend quite a bit of time in the forecast, and your main chart here is showing you the overview of your projected plan from sort of current date all the way through to the end of the plan. You can click on the drop down arrow and see other information, income and expenses, for example. If you scroll down, you can get more information about the particular year and how it's the actual calculations. For example, if you want to see the withdrawals or the returns, you can hover over that information here, or perhaps go into property equity. Or on the right hand side, there's information like the incomes and outgoings. If you particularly wanted to see how the expenses for a particular year, you can click on that. You're going to get spending breakdown, for example, or perhaps you're interested in looking at the gross income. You can click on that there. And then on the top here, there's a whole load of other information. Perhaps you want to see it more of a sort of a table way, like Excel, for example. You can click on the table here. You've got access to things like the flow map, seeing how the salaries comes in and how it's then spent on the various categories. And then we have access to more advanced features, for example, analyze and optimize, and estate planning and legacy. So I'm not going to go into those particular information for this particular overview, because there are topics for more advanced videos. So please check them out. And if you want more information, then contact support or click on the Get Help information at the bottom, where you're going to get a whole load of articles and other videos helping you plan your use with HorizonLens.